Sometimes in life, you just need a break to refresh, recharge, and enable yourself to be driven and ready to go again. And the last few weeks have been just that for me in regards to a lot of things. Playing Halo Infinite, for starts. I told everybody on the channel about 3 or 4 weeks ago that I was ready for a little bit of a break with Halo Infinite. And as such, I didn't really touch the game very much over the holidays. And frankly, taking that break was one of the best things possible. And I'm here in this video to encourage taking breaks to avoid burnout and to create a new passion, maybe a refined understanding of the things that you care about and why they're important to you. In summary, I'm really amped to play Halo again, both Infinite and some classic Halo like Halo 2 and Halo 3. Before we get any further, I want to talk about something that did happen while I was on my break. The new netcode model they've been testing in Halo Infinite. I got to play a little bit of it and wow, it feels really good. I've seen a lot of videos from high-paying players, people outside of the US, outside of NA, dealing with, higher latency situations, talking about a lot of the shortcomings that this system has. Bunch of stuff from Halo 5 returning and some old exploits that are resurfacing. Now, on the whole, I can only experience what I got to do here in NA, and the matches that I played felt night and day different. The shot registration is on another planet. It's so much better. And frankly, I just want it to come to ranked as soon as possible. It is very clear, this netcode is an evolution of what we experienced in Halo 5. But man, it feels so good, and I can't help but believe that if this solution was launched a lot closer to the release of Infinite, we probably would have retained quite a bit more players. Yeah, it's got some issues, but I cannot wait till it is in the game across the whole spectrum, because so much of the jitteriness and the jank that came with Halo Infinite, I feel like is directly tied to this, because when you shoot, at least here in NA, it really does feel like your bullets are hitting instantly and registering quickly. Throwing nades, it's like the old school Halo thing. Depending on the ping, it may take a little second for the grenade to show up. So projectiles can get really funky, and that does mess with some systems. So I'm not saying it's perfect, but on the whole, really, really nice. Now back to the subject of taking breaks and avoiding burnout. In the video a little bit later, I'll talk about my game plans with Halo, what's next, because seriously, I am amped once again. I discovered some old passions when I took off the last month. I really didn't upload much, I think there was 3 or 4 videos in December, which is, okay, peeling back the curtain on the YouTube strategy side. In November and December, ad rates go through the roof because consumer goods, this is the time of year when they go nuts with advertising for the holidays. And on YouTube, you get paid CPM. So that's cost per mil, and it basically means how much you can expect to be paid per 1,000 impressions. In YouTube's case, 1,000 views. And there's a lot more to it than that, but essentially during November and December, that rate goes way up. Triple, sometimes even more, depending on the space that you're in. And that's a big reason why you see YouTubers go ballistic with their upload schedules in November and December. Why do you think there's so many Vlogmas or whatever? The daily uploads are there because they make a bunch of money, and come January, ad rates crater, and it's really tough, at least the people who are doing this full time. Now, no disrespect for people who play the game, who do the system. I'm in a position where YouTube's just a side hobby. I've got a normal job. And so I've always wanted to just upload stuff when I feel like it and when it brings authentic content to people. I really feel like so much of the stuff that we see on YouTube now is so inauthentic because people are playing the strategy game. They're playing for the algorithm, and that's fine. But I really think it leads to a lot of lame filler content that doesn't necessarily need to be there. And again, maybe I shot myself in the foot, but I really enjoyed taking this big break from Halo and from uploading, right? Now, during this time off, I got to re-experience a new desire for games that I haven't played in a very long time. So for those of you who have watched the channel for the last 10 years, okay, you'll remember that I fell in love with both Street Fighter and StarCraft about a decade ago. And those games were straight up life-changing for me. When I was playing and uploading a bunch of Halo Reach, I picked up Street Fighter Third Strike and then Street Fighter 4 and was playing that alongside Halo at the time. And it literally was mind-blowing to me how cool that 1v1 game was. And it made me even more excited about Halo because all these things and mental tips that I was learning in Street Fighter carried directly over into Halo. And ever since, I've been a huge Street Fighter fan, right? Never been that good, but somebody who's played off and on the last 10 years or so. Street Fighter 4 lots of time with my good buddy M Vito. If you remember him, shout out in the comments. And then Street Fighter 5, I think I got into silver in Street Fighter 5. I picked up Street Fighter 6 though on the winter sale for Steam, and just probably have only put like 12 or 13 hours into it, and I am back in love. I'm trash and just barely struggling to stay alive in gold, but learning a lot and remembering so many of those great mental tips that just made me enjoy gaming more, like especially competitive games. So that was something I rediscovered this break, and then I also reinstalled StarCraft and StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2, you can imagine if you're an old Halo fan, it's an understandable crossover, because back around Halo 4 MLG days, maybe a little bit bleeding into the Reach days, StarCraft 2 was starting to blow up. And the circuit at MLG was definitely shifting a lot of focus to StarCraft 2. So I just randomly checked out the game, never had played an RTS, and fell in love. And over the next 3 years, I got up to Diamond, and I don't think, other than Halo, there is no competitive game that I love as much as StarCraft 2. And so these two games meant a ton to me. And after college and when I started in the workforce, I really haven't played much of either of them. A little bit of Street Fighter 5, but StarCraft has been on the back burner, and I haven't touched it since 2015. And it's been amazing to me, just going back to these games and remembering the good times. And remembering the good times not just with them, but with Halo. And that's part of where this re-energizing, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, this new wind, this motivation has come in on the Halo side. Is I've been playing Halo 2 and Halo 3 again. I've been watching old competitive VODs for these games. Looking at, gameplay from the Ogres. Looking at some old Walshy gameplays, going back to some of the classic MLG VODs, and just looking back at what a cool console competitive game Halo has been throughout these years. And man, I know Halo isn't what it used to be, but there is still that fun that can be found regardless of the player population and size. And I probably wouldn't have gone down this rabbit hole and rediscovered why I was so passionate about these games in the first place if I had just continued to grind Halo Infinite in the social hoppers and on the social side of the playlist. The whole message of this video is going to bake down into this. Burnout is bad, and burnout makes us forget why we enjoy the things that we enjoy. It gets to the point where you don't even recognize or remember what was such a driving, burning passion, why you liked it in the very first place. So I urge you this year, especially here at the start of the year, to be very aware of anything in your life you may be burning out on. It doesn't have to be a game. It can be an activity. It could be a friendship. It could be some activity, whatever it may be. If you're feeling like you're a robot and you're just doing it to do it and it is devoid of that enjoyment, take a step back if you can, reassess, and maybe just disconnect from it from a little bit. And in doing so, I think there is a real sense of refreshment. Not always. Sometimes you might come back with the clarity and go, yeah, I'm glad I stepped away from that and never came back. There's plenty of those things in our life where that's the case, but often we're running so quickly, we're doing so much, and we're so wrapped up in things that we don't pay attention to ourselves, and we don't pay attention to where we are at emotionally and mentally with our hobbies, our interests, relationships, whatever it may be. And so, again, take a step back if you aren't enjoying, or maybe reinvent the reason why you're doing something. In the case of gaming, okay? I'm kind of interested with Halo Infinite in dipping back into the ranked side of things. I solo queued up to Diamond 3 with about a dozen games or so, and I think the main driving force for wanting to play Infinite is the rank settings and the sandbox. Every time I come back and I play casual Infinite, like the normal social sandboxes, I'm over it. I'm super over pistol spam. The AR, pistol AR starts, is just so obnoxious, and it's frustrating to me that there are not more playlists in the game, outside of ranked, that don't put a Bandit Evo in your hand from the start. And I think for me to really have a driving force behind Infinite, I want to go maybe do some ranked content, right? Go solo queue some stuff. Maybe go look at some replays, talk about tips, mental game stuff. And I really want to translate that also into a look at classic Halo titles like 2 and 3. Talking about what made them special, looking at some great matches, and if I can get my hands on some old replays or footage, that would be sweet. And I can guarantee you a month ago, I didn't have any of this inspiration or any of these ideas that I wanted to fire off. I was just sick of playing Squad Battle and BTB in Halo Infinite for yet another day. So, wandering commentary. I know, it's random, but that's sort of the fun part of getting to do YouTube like this. You get to upload just content for your audience and see what sticks. If you got any ideas or thoughts about burnout, I would love it if you shared it down below, especially if you made it to this point in the video. Why don't you write Arbiter in the comments? I think that would be cool if you made it this far. Arbiter. So I hope you're having a great 2024. New videos are coming. And yeah, cheers. Thanks for listening to me just ramble for the last decade. It's been pretty fun, and I think there's more to go. So have a great day. We'll see you again in the next one.